Have you ever wondered how the largest land predator survives in the harsh Arctic environment? Just imagine the frigid, icy landscape. Now picture a creature mighty and majestic, perfectly at home in this icy wilderness. This is the realm of the polar bear, the Arctic king. Known scientifically as Ursus maritimus, which literally translates to maritime bear, they are the largest land predators on Earth. Their realm is the Arctic, a place of beauty and danger, where survival is a game of strategy and skill. Their size is not the only thing that sets them apart. They've evolved with unique adaptations, physical and behavioral, that enable them to thrive in one of the harshest environments on our planet. They're not just survivors, they're masters of their icy domain. So how does this magnificent creature thrive in such challenging conditions? Let's delve into the icy world of the polar bear. Scene script. Surviving in the Arctic isn't easy, but polar bears have some unique tricks up their furry sleeves. Imagine being wrapped in a thick blanket of fur, so white it blends with the snow around you. That's what it's like being a polar bear. This fur isn't just for show though, it's hollow, trapping air for insulation and providing the perfect camouflage against the icy backdrop. The coat is so effective at retaining heat that polar bears can overheat even in freezing temperatures, but what lies beneath this snowy white coat is even more fascinating. Their skin, pitch black, absorbs and retains heat from the sun, turning their entire body into a solar panel of sorts, and that's not all. Underneath the skin, a dense layer of fat up to 4 inches thick provides buoyancy in water and acts as an additional thermal insulator. But let's not forget about their feet. Large and slightly webbed, they are designed for both long-distance walking and powerful swimming. The soles are covered in small bumps called papillae, which provide grip on the ice, while fur in between the toes adds insulation. And their noses? Not just for sniffing out seals. Polar bears have an incredible sense of smell, capable of detecting prey up to a mile away or under 3 feet of snow. But in the coldest of winters, they use their noses for something else entirely. They'll dig a den in the snow, curl up and cover their sensitive muzzles with their thickly furred paws to protect against frostbite. Their eyes, too, are adapted for the Arctic with a protective membrane that shields against snow blindness while allowing them to spot the slightest movement of potential prey. Survival in the Arctic is a game of adaptation, and polar bears are the masters. Every part of their body, every characteristic has been honed by the harsh environment, turning them into the ultimate Arctic survivors. So, these physical adaptations make the polar bear a true Arctic specialist. When it comes to food, the polar bear is at the top of the food chain. This magnificent creature, the Lord of the Arctic, has a diet primarily centered around seals. Ringed and bearded seals, to be exact. These seals are a plentiful source of high-fat content, which is essential for the polar bear's survival in the harsh Arctic conditions. So how do these Arctic kings go about hunting their favored prey? Well, it's not as straightforward as you might think. Polar bears are patient hunters, often waiting for hours on end by a seal's breathing hole in the ice. This is known as still hunting. The bear waits, often in freezing temperatures and harsh winds, for the seal to come up for air. When the seal does, the polar bear uses its powerful forelimbs to drag the seal out onto the ice. It's a strategy that requires immense patience and a keen understanding of their prey's habits. Now, you might be wondering, do polar bears eat anything else? The answer is yes. Although seals are their preferred meal, polar bears are opportunistic and will eat whatever is available. This includes fish, birds, and even scavenged carcasses. Despite this, seals remain their primary source of fat and protein, crucial for their survival. But here's where things get a bit tricky. Climate change is having a profound impact on the polar bear's hunting patterns. As the Arctic ice melts at an alarming rate, the bears are finding it increasingly difficult to hunt seals. The shrinking ice means fewer breathing holes for seals, which in turn means fewer hunting opportunities for polar bears. This has led to a noticeable decline in their body condition and reproductive success. Despite these challenges, polar bears continue to demonstrate remarkable resilience. They are masters of adaptation and have evolved over thousands of years to survive in one of the world's most inhospitable environments. Thus, for polar bears, hunting is a game of patience and strategy. It's a delicate balance, a dance of survival, played out on the vast icy stage of the Arctic. Polar bears lead a fascinating life right from birth. As soon as a cub is born, it is enveloped in the warmth of a snow den, tended to delicately by its mother. Weighing just over 1 pound, these tiny creatures are blind, toothless, and utterly dependent on their mother's care. The first few months of their lives are spent in the cozy confines of their den, nursing and growing stronger. Around late March or early April, the cubs are ready to venture out into the world, guided by their mother. They're still small, but now they're equipped with a layer of fat and a thick coat of fur to protect them from the harsh Arctic climate. This is the start of a 2.5-year journey with their mother, learning the ropes of survival in the wild. They learn to hunt, swim, and navigate the vast icy expanse that is their home. Entering adolescence, polar bear cubs experience a growth spurt, and by the time they're 2 years old, they can weigh as much as 600 pounds. At this stage, they are nearly ready to venture out on their own. Their mother, having imparted all the wisdom and skills they need, sends them off to establish their own territories. Adult polar bears lead solitary lives, with males and females coming together only for mating. Males can grow to be up to 9 feet tall and weigh as much as 1,600 pounds, making them the largest land predators on Earth. Females, while smaller, are no less formidable. They continue the cycle of life, giving birth and raising cubs of their own. The average lifespan of a polar bear in the wild is about 20 to 25 years. Though it may seem brief, each moment is filled with adventure, survival, and the raw beauty of the Arctic wilderness. The life of a polar bear, though challenging, is truly intriguing. Despite being the apex predators, polar bears face serious threats. These magnificent creatures, the kings of the Arctic, find themselves on the receiving end of a world that's changing faster than they can adapt. The most significant, and perhaps the most well-known of these threats, is climate change. As the Earth's temperature rises, the Arctic ice, the primary habitat of polar bears, is melting at an unprecedented rate. This loss of sea ice is more than just a change in landscape. It's a direct threat to the polar bear's way of life. They depend on the ice for hunting seals, their main food source. No ice means no seals, and no seals means starvation for our Arctic kings. But the challenges don't stop at climate change. Human activities also pose a considerable threat. Over the decades, hunting has drastically reduced polar bear numbers. Even though many countries now have laws against hunting these creatures, illegal poaching persists. The bear's thick fur and meat are highly sought after, making them prime targets. And then there's pollution. Our oceans are filled with pollutants, from plastic waste to oil spills. These contaminants find their way into the Arctic waters and the bear's food chain, affecting their health and reproductive capabilities. Finally, let's not forget about the impact of human encroachment. As we continue to expand our territories, the polar bears are losing theirs. This forced proximity often leads to human-bear conflicts with fatal consequences for both parties. The survival of polar bears is a testament to their resilience, yet their future hangs in the balance. It's a race against time, and we're all participants. The plight of the polar bear is a stark reminder of our impact on the world and the responsibility we bear to safeguard the future of these Arctic kings. The plight of the polar bear has not gone unnoticed. Conservation efforts are underway to preserve this Arctic icon. Across the globe, a multitude of organizations and individuals are pulling together, driven by a shared mission to safeguard the survival of these majestic creatures. Let's delve into some of these efforts. Countries within the Arctic Circle, such as the United States, Canada, Denmark, Norway, and Russia, have been implementing protective laws and regulations. These laws range from prohibiting hunting to establishing protected habitats, and even addressing climate change, the primary threat to polar bears' survival. Moreover, international agreements like the Agreement on the Conservation of Polar Bears, forged in 1973, have played a pivotal role in curbing commercial hunting, which had severely decimated polar bear populations in the past. This agreement is a beacon of hope, signaling global unity in the face of a shared challenge. Aside from legal measures, research projects are also paramount in conservation efforts. Scientists and researchers are tirelessly studying polar bear behavior, diet, reproduction, and habitat use. This information is crucial in understanding how polar bears are responding to climate change and how we can better aid their survival. Technology, too, is lending a hand. Satellite imagery and tracking devices are used to monitor polar bear movement and population trends. This data, when combined with climate models, helps predict future polar bear habitats, enabling us to take proactive measures. Public awareness campaigns are also a significant part of conservation. By educating people about the predicament of polar bears, we inspire them to take action, whether it's reducing their carbon footprint or supporting conservation organizations. In the end, every effort counts. Every law enacted, every piece of research conducted, every individual educated, and every dollar donated brings us one step closer to ensuring the survival of these Arctic kings. The fight for polar bear survival is a collective effort. It's a fight we cannot afford to lose, for the loss of the polar bear would be a loss for us all. The polar bear, the king of the Arctic, is a marvel of adaptation and survival. These majestic creatures have earned their royal status, not just by their impressive size, but also by their incredible resilience to the harsh Arctic conditions. In this vast, frigid wilderness, polar bears have mastered the art of survival. They've adapted to the Arctic's extreme weather, with their thick fur and a layer of blubber that can be up to 4 inches thick. This provides insulation against the cold as well as buoyancy while swimming, a key aspect of their hunting techniques. Speaking of hunting, let's not forget the polar bear's diet. It primarily consists of seals, which they deftly catch using their excellent swimming skills and keen sense of smell. Their ability to fast for months during the summer when food is scarce showcases their extraordinary endurance. But life in the Arctic isn't just about hunting and enduring the cold. Polar bears have a fascinating life cycle. From the birth of cubs in snow dens during the winter months to the trials young bears face as they learn to hunt and survive on their own, it's a journey that is as captivating as it is harsh. Yet these Arctic kings face threats that are far graver than the Arctic's extreme conditions. Climate change, loss of sea ice, and human activities are endangering the very existence of these magnificent creatures. The loss of sea ice habitat is the biggest threat to their survival, making it more difficult for them to hunt and breed. But all hope is not lost. Conservation efforts are underway to protect and preserve these Arctic monarchs. From reducing greenhouse gas emissions to protecting their habitats and managing sustainable tourism, every effort counts. Understanding and protecting polar bears is not just about their survival, but also about the health of our planet. As the Arctic's top predator, the polar bear is a key indicator of the health of the Arctic ecosystem. Their survival is intertwined with the fate of the Arctic and ultimately the health of our planet. So, let's stand up for these Arctic kings. Their story is our story too.